happening now. I think he's really got a shot at a medal at the
I know.
Olympics. So they'll be
Yeah.
the first. Actually, I think it's going to be the first male that has ever, if he's going to be on the podium, which we all hope he will, the podium at the Olympics.
The first U.S. male.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. US.
Yeah. So I want to talk to him about that. That I've been following along, and I was so proud of Gwen when she finally got her gold. So
Right. Yeah.
to
So people
have
are coming in. So we'll get. We're up to 10 now. So let's give it a few more minutes. Then we'll start. And then we'll introduce Morgan. We have a little clip to show you guys about Morgan. Those are not completely familiar with him.
yes.
I did that. I did the clip this morning, so you better applaud when I'm done with this video.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Sounds good. All right. Hopefully we'll get more peeps on.
Well, you know what happened is when we did Craig Alexander last week, it was the same thing. I had people that showed up, 15, 20 minutes later because
What?
of whatever reason. Yeah, I mean, they showed up, but what are you going to do, right?
Yeah. Rude. So rude. Right,
Any plans tonight for a workout with your group, or Friday night is off?
Friday night is definitely off. We have a double workout every Friday. We do strength training and then swimming. So then tomorrow we have a transition practice. So there's Kaya.
Okay, here we go. Here's Kaya.
She probably won't show her screen. All right, hopefully we'll get some more peeps.
Let's give it one more minute and we'll start. I'm sure we'll have some more, but
yeah. This is not gonna, we don't get the recording of this, you guys. So hopefully people are aware of that. Normally they watch the recordings later after I do my Zooms,
Yeah, well, you snooze, you lose.
This is true.
Or we can record it and then you can charge them because they missed it.
Right.
So let's give it one more minute and then we'll start. So it's 3:02, 3:03 we'll start. I mean, I can start now and really, thanks everyone for joining. Like I said earlier, everyone's on mute now until we get actual into the Q&A. I'm sure you'll have great questions for Morgan. I'll be hosting the event with my good friend Erinne, and my partner Heath is here as well. And he's going to talk to you guys a little bit about what CredoTRI is about and what the goal is and what we hope to accomplish and to help you guys be better athletes and stay motivated. So maybe we can start now and have Heath explain what the app is about. And it's important that you guys, I don't know if you've done it already, but it's important that you download the app because you're part of Full Circle. The app is free for you to use for a year. Okay.
That's a $75 value, you guys.
Yeah, so it is. It's only with
advantage.
Yeah, it's only with Erinne's club. So take advantage of it. Heath, you want to take it away?
Great. So Erinne, thank you again for the opportunity to not only see you again, but your athletes. And I think everybody's kind of excited Friday, right? Looking forward to the long weekend of some heavy training. For your benefit, Lou and I are age group triathletes as well. So we totally love the sport, totally are aligned with what you guys are doing. And we thank you for joining us this afternoon. So I just want to take a few moments just to really share with you what CredoTRI is. Lou and I are co-founders of this app. We developed it and we just launched it. We're kind of just completing some beta testing. And we're asking everybody to download it. It is up, running, and live on both Apple and Android under CredoTRI, T-R-I. Credo means I believe. And it is the first ever motivational and inspirational app dedicated to age group triathletes. This app is not a training app. It's not supposed to replace Erinne. It's not even close to replacing Erinne.
No, this is never.
Never. This is more about when you have to go follow Erinne's plan and go swim, bike, run. This is hopefully going to motivate you a little bit more to get you guys going, get you out of bed when it's, I was going to say cold, but we don't have too many cold days here. But when it's dark, day like today, when this morning it was just raining nasty, and it's a lot easier to say, screw it, I'm going to either sleep or just go to work and skip my workout. So that's what this app is about. So when you go to it, you're going to see a bunch of pros. We have over 40 professional athletes, including Morgan, who's our special guest today. And there's an alarm setup. So the concept is that when you're going to do your training, whether it's first thing in the morning, during a lunch hour, after dinner, whenever it may be, you could set your alarm for a swim alarm, a bike alarm, a run alarm, strength train alarm, and a rest day alarm. So you set the alarm for the discipline of sport that you're going to train for. When the alarm goes off on your Apple or your Android, you're going to be surprised by one of our 40 pros, and you're going to see a video from them. And the video is going to give you a motivational, quick statement that one of these pros or an inspirer said within their career. So it's not made up stuff. It's when they said it, when they won a race, when they lost a race, or any other time being interviewed, on any type of social media. Not only, hopefully, are they going to give you some small inspiration to get you going, they're going to give you a takeaway tip for the discipline of sport that you set the alarm for. So if you set tomorrow a swim alarm, you could get a motivational message from one of our pros, and then they're going to give you a very small, quick takeaway tip for swim, about your head position, about your kick. Again, it's not going to say, forget Erinne's workout. It's going to make you say, hey, during Erinne's workout, let me just focus on maybe this little nugget to help me improve or incorporate. So we hope you enjoy it. We would love your feedback. We are new, so we would like to reach out to you sometime down the road for some constructive criticism. Did you like it? Did you hate it? How can we make it better? But as Erinne mentioned, we charge $7.99 a month or $75 a year. But for you guys, it's going to be free for a year. So we certainly encourage you to do so. And what's not included, though, is an additional opportunity through the app to ask any of our pros a personalized question. It could be, hey, Erinne gave me this really hard workout. Should I do it? It could be any question.
Yes.
You're right. And what you're going to get back is a personalized video from that pro. So if you ask Morgan a question, if you have Sebastian Kienle, the Brownlee brothers, Non Stanford, whoever one of our athletes, you could ask them a personal question and you will get a personalized video response back answering your question. That is an optional upgrade that we provide through the app. It's really cool. The other thing that we offer is if you don't want to ask a personal question, but you want to say, hey, Morgan, my coach, Erinne, is the best, and I want to say thank you to her. So you could text that to Morgan, and then Morgan will send a personalized video to Erinne. Say, hey, Cindy, one of your athletes said you're the best, and Morgan or one of our other athletes could give a well wish, and Erinne could keep that and show all her friends. So it's really a neat feature. We're really excited about that. The last thing that we offer is something that we're experiencing here today. It's an opportunity for a tri club, a bike store. If you guys are doing a pre-Kona race party, you could invite any of our pros for a private Zoom Q&A for up to an hour, virtual, of course. Or if you're doing a training session and you go into Erinne's camp and you want to, ask one of our pros to do a Zwift ride with you or do a pain cave workout, you could also have the ability to ask any of the pros to appear virtually. And that's all on our app. It could also be seen on our website at CredoTRI.com. So really, we encourage you to check it out, use it, and hopefully you're just as excited as we are. So with that, what I'd like to do is just show you a quick video of Morgan, and we're going to turn it over. So thanks for listening, and hopefully you enjoy the experience today.
Thanks, Heath.
Can you guys see this?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Hey, Morgan, you didn't know about this one, so.
I noticed that. I know what that photo's from. Or whatever.
Well, honestly, it's a different race. just like extremely different competition. I mean, going into Thursday, I knew there was 3 guys that had significantly faster PRs than me, and then there was me. So that was kind of sticking with them for as long as I could,
And compared to this?
yeah, and just to know that there's like competition out there that I should be facing. And I mean,
You do? Okay.
I still wanted to win the race going in.
At the Olympics, that's pretty much done already now because he's surely going to come top 8. Bronze for the American Pearson. He's going to the Olympics. What a run from the American. He's on the plane to Tokyo.
I thought I could be an Olympian triathlon before I even started. Like, that was my goal. But I think all of us need to realize, like, getting there is not the important thing. It's performing there. And, like, I don't want to be the guy that goes there and gets dead last or just, like, DNFs or something. Like, I want to compete. I want to be the best in the world. So it's like, I've always had that belief in myself.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our good friend and CredoTRI member, athlete, Morgan Pearson. Are you going to appear, Morgan?
I think I am.
There you are. Oh, you were for a second.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Awesome.
Golf claps.
Hey, everyone. How are you?
Great.
So Morgan, it's going to be me and Erinne hosting the event. So I will let Erinne, because she's keen on doing the interviewing, I will let her go first, and we'll roll for about half an hour. Then we'll leave it open at the end for a Q&A for the folks that are attending via Zoom. And then we'll do a little quiz on Morgan's career, and you guys can win some swag, get some freedom.
You guys better take notes. Better take notes for this. So Morgan, it's so nice to meet you. And I'm a little embarrassed to say this because I didn't know who you were until the Leeds race. Okay. So it was a Sunday morning, I think, and I was drinking coffee on my patio, and I decided to log into my Triathlon Live app. And I was watching the race. It was so exciting. I watched the women's race. I watched the men's race. And then I saw American cross second place. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this has not happened. Like I haven't seen an American on the top 3 in a long, long time. So I am just so excited to meet you. And I'm so inspired by you. And I cannot wait to see what happens in Tokyo. But I have obviously some specific questions for you. So I've been in the sport since 1997. So I'm quite a bit older than you. And I have been watching every Olympics for triathlon since then. And I just wanted to introduce some of my athletes because they're really not up on it. There's probably maybe like 2 or 3 of my athletes that are really following the Olympic distance professionals. Right. Like they're more into Ironman professionals, right?
Right.
So when I called Lou right after, and I said, hey, we were supposed to hook up before, but I want to talk to this guy, Morgan. I'm so excited that we have an American male. I was a big fan of Gwen, so I was happy we got the female gold, but I want to believe it's your turn, right? So yeah. I wanted to ask you a couple questions because I just read a little bit about you, that you came from a swimming and a running background, right? Mm-hmm. And so your 5K, I remember your 5K time is what, 13 something?
30. I've run 13:36 on the track.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
In college. So that's quite a few years old.
Okay, but still, that's pretty inspirational.
Thanks. Yeah, thank you.
So, speaking to my athletes, like we're trying to develop all of them, swimming, biking, and running. And, I'm always explaining that biking is a thing that you can actually learn later in life. And as an Olympian, how has that journey been for you? Like learning about the bike and, making it a part of the whole sandwich of triathlon.
Right. Well, I should also say thank you for the kind words. I really appreciate it. And for the biking's been hard to learn. I'll say, because I came from a running background and swimming, the endurance aspect and the aerobic side of it was actually the easier part. Not to say that I didn't have to train, not put in the long, hard hours, do the intervals, do the hard work. But for those of you who don't know, the Olympics is a draft legal race, and the entire circuit that I compete on is draft legal, which it's a skill to say, like, it's a skill by itself. I mean, even if you're a non-draft, when you're cornering, descending, that can be extremely hard. And if you're good at it, you can actually go a lot faster in some of these courses. And so if you think about that, think about doing that stuff around 20 other guys going 30 miles per hour.
Yeah.
It's a daunting task, especially when you haven't been doing it your whole life. And a lot of the guys I've been competing against have done it since a young age. So for me, that was a really hard part to learn.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I'm still getting better at it, still learning at it, and still challenging myself. But the number one thing is just getting out and doing it as much as I can. Group rides. I'm lucky enough to live in Boulder, Colorado, which is a pretty rich bike culture here. And there's usually some sort of group ride going out throughout the year. So I'm always challenging myself to go to those rides. You know, they're good workouts. They can challenge me physically, but more than anything, they challenge my skills and mentally and tactics and knowing when to push, when to hold back, when to get in the draft, how to draft. I've also worked with a cycling specific coach in terms of biking skills, taking corners, doing U-turns, sprinting technique. So for me, it's just been kind of diving in the deep end and just recognizing that it is a weakness, but also accepting that and trying to learn from it. It took me about a year. The first year I kind of didn't really approach it like that. I was just trying to rely more on the swimming and running background and biking fitness. But after my first year in the sport, I was like, if I'm ever going to be one of the best guys at this, I can't have that glaring weakness in my race. So that's when I really started going to as many group rides as I could, starting working with a bike coach. And yeah, I mean, like I said, it's an ongoing process, but I've definitely improved a lot.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I just noticed in your career, you hadn't had many podiums until this year, and then maybe one, or how many did you have last year compared?
Well,
I guess
last
because we didn't have any, right?
So for those of you who don't know, this is it used to be called ITU, International Triathlon Union. They just changed the name to World Triathlon, which I actually think is a good decision by them. I think it's easier to kind of understand what it is. But there's basically 3 levels to the sport. There's a WTS, that's the highest level, and there's usually about 8 of those races a year. There's World Cups, which is the next notch down, which there's usually 15 of those a year, and then there's Continental Cups, which there's tons of those, but they're rather uncompetitive. So, you know, each different level is better prize money, better points for your world ranking, but also harder competition.
Right.
So in 2019, I actually got on 2 podiums, but they were World Cup podiums.
Okay.
And my best finish in a WTS had been a 6th place.
Okay.
So yeah, this year's been a bit of a breakout year in terms of that WTS, that highest level, because we've had 2 races and I've been on both podiums, which is pretty cool for me and really exciting.
So exciting. And then you became you got on the Olympic team last year, and on the course that you're going to be training or actually racing on for the Olympics, right?
That's actually not true.
So it's not. Tell me.
So we raced in Yokohama. The race was, I want to say, May 15th of 2021. And if we were top 8 and top American, we got an auto selection to the Olympics this summer. So I was lucky enough to finish in 3rd, and was also the top American. So I got that auto selection. It was in Japan, and I'll say this: it's a similar course to the Olympics, just in terms of the layout, the nature of the bike course. It's not a ton of hills. It's a bit technical, but it's not the same course that we race on in Tokyo, actually.
Okay, cool. And then I do want to talk about that course and the conditions and all the stuff that's going on, but I want to stick with the coaching aspect of things, because obviously that's what I'm interested in and my athletes are interested. But just to remind everybody, the distance of an Olympic distance triathlon.
Right.
So
so the Olympic distance, it's a 1,500 meter swim, a 40K bike, and a 10K run.
Yeah.
And like I mentioned, it's draft legal on the bike, which I don't know if it makes it easier or harder, but it is a bit different than just doing a non-draft race.
Well, I can say, I'm doing the age group draft legal sprint races, and one of my coaches and I are headed to Bermuda because we qualified for the Worlds there. And I think it's a much harder race when you have to draft, because you're constantly, there's never like, I don't know, I can say within myself when I'm doing a non-drafting race, right? You know, you kind of just are with yourself, but it's all dependent on everybody else when it's draft legal. And if you're in that sweet spot, and if you're working or if you're sitting in, like, it's just so dynamic and so exciting. And you have to think so much when you say you have to use your brain so much to not wreck and not be killed around the turns and all that stuff.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, non-drafting that's a challenge, and that's physically you have to be super strong. You have to ride aerodynamic, but non-drafting, like kind of what I was mentioning about all that bike stuff I need to work on. It's a totally different challenge, and I would say they're both equally hard. It's just different things that you need to be good at. And I mean, that's what makes it exciting. You know, I think, what makes the kind of the Olympic distance circuit so exciting is you never really know who's going to win the race. I mean, in the last 2-3 years, there's only been a couple guys who won multiple WTS races. I can only think of 2 within the last, I guess 3 guys have. So in the last 3 years, like 3 guys have been on multiple wins.
Like Brownlee?
Blumenfeld. Nope. Blumenfeld
Not
won twice. Vincent Louis won twice, and Jake Birtwistle from Australia won twice. So, but then it's just always a mix, and it's always different guys getting second, third. You know, even the top 10, you have an off day. Maybe you go from maybe getting third to getting 12th, or maybe even out of the top 20. You know, it's just very competitive.
Which something different.
Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned hiring a specific cycling coach, which I love, but like, what is your coaching? Do you have a head coach for Team USA? And so you're able to hire outside coaches to help you for specific things as you need it?
Yeah, so my head coach name is Dean Golich. He's actually not working for the US Federation or anything.
Okay.
Pardon me. That being said, he's out of Colorado Springs, and his wife works in the Olympic Training Center. So she definitely helps out a lot with the sports science. And it's a nice connection because she works with USA Triathlon. So he's not that far removed.
Right.
So we're working together, but yeah, I work with different coaches for more specific stuff. I have that bike guy I work with once or twice a month now. For a while, it was more like every week.
Okay.
I have a guy that I work with on the swim, maybe once a week. Just he used to race open water. So for me, it's just, you know, when you're at the highest level and you're trying to be the best in the world, you can't have any weakness, and you need to get everything out of yourself. So for me, I'm like, my coach is great and he's running great workouts, but that high level specific stuff, and he's in Colorado Springs, so he can't be there for most of my training anyways.
Right. To see.
And he knows I'm working with these coaches. He doesn't mind. And that's the relationship we have. You know, we're trying to be the best. It's not an egotistical relationship where he's like, no, you have to do it exactly.
Right. Exactly.
So I actually think it's great, and I'm loving working with Dean. So yeah.
So, okay. So as a coach, like, I want to know, like, at the highest level, you are at the pinnacle for this distance of triathlon. So are you doing swim analysis, swim video analysis, run video analysis? Are you like retweaking your bike position? Not that much, or yes, even though you're on the road bike and aerodynamics is not as important. Like, what special things are your coaches doing for you to make sure that you show up on race day at the Olympics like the best of the best?
Yeah. Well, let's see. Specifically, so let's start with the swim. For example, that swim coach I've been working with, I usually see him once a week, and he writes these sets to kind of work on my weakness or work on stuff that's going to help me in the open water. For example, I tend to have a bit of a long loping swim stroke. I do, which is good. For me, I work a lot on my power and distance per stroke, but he's really trying to get me to have a better turnover so I can use that power and translate it into speed and being relaxed at speed. So so we'll do a lot of like, okay, this 100, you can take 10 strokes a lap. And then this one you have to take 12. And then this one you have to take 14. And it's just, we're working in that range of thing. And he's saying, hey, like, you need to breathe earlier. So it is pretty specific, like you're mentioning.
And are you doing videos so you can see what you're doing versus what he's asking you to do?
Yeah, exactly. He'll film me and he'll send me the videos after. For example, I was swimming with a friend of mine slash training, a guy I've been training with a bit. And this guy is a really fast swimmer. He's way fast, like especially speed. This guy was going 23s in practice for 50,
Oh my
50,
gosh.
50 yards.
So,
So he had a video of us lined up, and he was showing me every time I took a breath, it'd be like us swimming right beside each other. Every time I took a breath, I'd go a little bit further back. So he's like, this is a weakness. You need to work on your breath timing
whoa.
or taking less breaths when you're sprinting. So
Right.
yeah,
I love that.
it's
Yeah, that's
pretty
awesome.
nice. It's nice to have. And it's, for example, we did a session and he's like, okay, you need to work on your breathing, like I just mentioned. And he's like, the next week, obviously I'm only swimming with him once a week, so I'm going to swim most days. It's like the next week, this is what I want you to think about every practice.
Right.
So I kind of did that, came back up, a week is not that long. You're not going to fix your swim stroke within a week, but you can slowly get a little better. So yeah, it's really nice.
And what about like run video and like, so a couple of questions, like how many, let's answer the run video first. Like, have you had analysis of your running and how has that improved? You're already pretty fast, right? So.
Yeah. Running's hard. It's hard for me because I've run for so many years now and so many miles that it's not that I don't want to have better running form, because I think I have a big room for improvement, but I don't want to get injured trying to fix it. So what I'm actually doing is I'm doing strides multiple times a week, and I'm doing running drills almost every day. And it's also just mental. When I'm running in a workout, I'm trying to be relaxed. For example, this morning I was doing 200s on the track, which for me is my weakness is probably speed when it comes to, for honestly, all three. Mm-hmm. So all I was thinking about was my knee lift, trying to get my knees up a little bit higher. So there's always just little things. Yeah. And I know my running form's not not perfect, but I'm just working on the little stuff. And like the swim, you're not going to make this massive change within a week, but my feeling is, and what I've understood is, as I've gotten older as an athlete, is if you focus on little stuff over a long period of time, you're going to make big changes over the long period of time.
Yes. Love that. That's so true. So speaking of your training week, how many days, what's your typical week? Do you take a full day off ever or not?
Sometimes I'll take Monday completely off. Mm-hmm. Sometimes most Mondays I'm doing a light swim and an easy run with strides. I'd say maybe once a month I just take it off.
Right.
But I try to rest on Mondays.
Okay.
And it could be a good day for me to get stuff done outside of the sport. I mean, I still have other things to do. Right. So grocery shop, whatever.
Can you give me a quick week rundown of your training week?
Yeah. So let's see. Tuesday morning, I usually do my strength run workout. So maybe a tempo run, a fartlek, or mile repeats. Tuesday, and then I'll do a longer bike ride with usually some intensity in there. For example, this past couple of weeks, I've been doing the group ride on Tuesday night, and I'll usually fit a swim in the middle of the day.
So 3 days.
Yeah. Wednesday, let's see. I usually do a swim in the morning, a light, just easy run, easy miles, and easy bike. So Wednesday is an easier-ish day. Tuesday is really hard.
Okay.
So Wednesdays, it's a little bit more than what Monday would be, but it's just kind of easy volume, maybe some intensity on the swim. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Thursday is usually an aerobic swim. So over 5K, it's kind of my longer swim for the week, 5 to 6K swim, and another quality bike session. This could be intervals, but as we get closer to racing, I'm doing more of the group rides. For example, last night we didn't do the group ride, but I went out with a group of three other athletes, and there's a mile loop with a giant hill on it, and we just did 20 laps, basically all out. Sweet. With the caveat being you couldn't pedal in the downhills just for safety. I mean, it's not a closed road. So just stuff like that. We're just pushing each other. Right. That's the great thing about biking is you can kind of go hard a lot. Right. And you can bike a lot. And then Friday morning, which is today, I did I call it speed day or track workout. It's usually not that hard of a workout. Today I was doing 200s. Just that is a time where I'm focused on my form and my technique. And I'm just trying to get I used to be a runner, so I used to be fresh running. My legs would feel great. My turnovers feeling amazing. I used to be able to, I'm a strong runner now, maybe stronger than I was when I was focused on running, but I don't have the same speed. So I like doing that speed session just to try to just keep that speed in my legs and the turnover. And I think it does help because when I go back on Tuesday and run the tempo runs or whatever, it's easier I feel more relaxed. So that's why I like doing that session. Maybe a light swim and a light bike. So Friday's kind of another easier day. So my easier days are Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Saturday, I'll come back, I'll do a long run in the morning and a harder swim in the afternoon, and maybe bike an hour, just light, kind of fleshing out my legs.
Okay.
And then Sunday is the long ride. So I'll do 4 hours long ride usually.
And what's your long run? So you have a 4-hour long ride, you have a 5K long swim, and what's your long run?
15 miles usually.
15 miles. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So swimming, I'll swim 5Ks other days of the week too. So I don't really have a long swim, but if Thursday tends to be the longest one.
So no strength training at this point, right? Because you're too close to race day, but do you do core work and stuff?
Yeah, I do. Over the winter, I was doing twice a week lifts, and then I was doing once a week. And now it's more in the morning, I'm doing activation and core, just core activation and that sort of thing.
Right.
I would love to, at the end of the day, I would love to be lifting more, but I train pretty hard and it can be hard to fit it all in. And sometimes I just need to rest.
Yeah, I'm exhausted just listening to you. But so obviously you need to be fueling these workouts and this training. So do you have any kind of a specific nutrition protocol? Is this up to you what you eat? Do you choose to eat? Are you fat adapted, or are you more just whatever I eat, or is there some kind of a system that you apply to?
I'm pretty good. I think I'm pretty good about fueling. So for us, we're doing Olympic distance. So the whole fat, metabolism. Yeah, it's not necessarily important for us to train that. Some mornings I do a fasted run.
Okay.
I work with a nutritionist, and she said it could be good for me to do a couple times, just to kind of
get into fat burning.
Yeah, exactly. So. But that's not I need to do a fasted run today. It's just some mornings I'll wake up and I know I have a 5-mile run. So it's not that I can go and not fuel before. But what I think is really important actually is fueling on the bike when you're doing anytime I'm riding over an hour, I'm always eating at every hour mark. Just some sort of, right now I've been eating fruit snacks. Fruit snacks, gels.
Dried fruit? Is that what you mean by fruit snacks? Dried fruit?
No, the chewy ones you get, Welch's.
Yeah, gummies.
Yeah,
Yeah,
gummies.
Welch's. Those are good.
Yeah.
Those are good.
I mean, those are good. So I think that really helps because if you're feeling that way, you're not bonking on the bike and you can recover. What I've noticed is you can recover a lot faster if you're fueling properly throughout the bike workout. And then my long run too, I usually take a gel at an hour. So yeah, and then I always try to eat. I eat a lot, especially I work with a protein supplement, so I'm taking that after most of my harder workouts, the harder runs, the harder bikes. Right when I get home, I'm drinking protein. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I eat a lot. I'm not afraid to, I'm not counting my calories or weighing my food. I pretty much eat till I'm full, and then I probably usually eat a little more because I get hungry at night. I'll wake up in the middle of the night hungry, and that's such a bad feeling, and that actually ruins the recovery more than,
So what is your cheat? If you're starving and you've trained all these hours and days, what do you wolf down? What satisfies you as far as that is your bad food? Anything?
Lately, there's these pizzas at King Super or Safeway where I grocery shop that take 10 minutes in the oven, and they're they're just really easy to make, and it's easy to clean up.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that's probably my cheat food. I'll make that at 9 p.m. if I'm hungry, and for most people it's probably a meal, but for me, I just eat it. Like it's
Right.
nothing.
That's awesome. Yeah, you already burned that before you're done swallowing. Like it's already gone, right? You burned all those
Yeah.
calories.
And like I said, like I'd rather not be hungry.
Yes, for sure.
For me, yeah.
You can't afford to have no energy. We got to get the gold, right? We got to get the gold. So I want to open it up to questions, but I do have one final question, and that's of course about mental skills. And I just actually saw your video about find a way, and then I loved it, and I also mentioned about or read about your brother, and I want to send my condolences about his death, and I'm very, very sorry for your loss because I know that's got to be heavy on your heart. But you kind of also dedicate that, he could be helping you in these last few weeks and months. And, just can you speak about mental skills aspect? Because I love your confidence and, just that find a way, like no matter what, you're going to find the pool, you're going to get the food, you're going to get the coach to work with you on your weaknesses. I love that and admire that about you so much.
Yeah. Well, like you kind of mentioned, for me, it's like, you can always find an excuse to not get the work done and not improve, or you can kind of shut that little voice off in your head and just say, you know what, this is important. If it's important to you, you're going to find the way to do it. So that's kind of my, that's kind of what I believe.
That's your mantra.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, like it's kind of a joke, but it is serious. We're as triathletes, like it's not like we're on a team. It's not like we're on a pro soccer team where everything's kind of set up for us perfectly, or
right.
So it's a lot up to us. That's one thing I've noticed about being a triathlete is it's a lot up to us, and it's on us. And so we are the ones that have to go out and get the training. And like I said, my coach is in Colorado Springs, so he's not there holding a stopwatch. A lot of these workouts I'm doing are just by myself.
Right. Self-motivated, right?
Yeah.
You have to be self-motivated, and motivation comes from action, but you have to be inspired. And that's where I feel like you have some inspiration to take inspired action, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like, I'll be honest, it's easy for me to train when you're training for something like the Olympics. It's easy, but at the end of the day, even I've always been a motivated guy. Like when I'm in middle school, even I'm getting ready for the swim meet. Like I'm super excited, and it's easy for me, that's never been hard. So maybe I'm lucky in that sense. But.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, I think you answered every single one of my questions. So thank you. I hope everybody enjoyed that. For me, it was awesome. I was being a little selfish, but so do you guys have any questions? Jack, do you have any questions? Anybody? You can unmute yourselves. No, don't be shy. Come on, you guys.
I'll tell you, Erinne, I'll ask one.
Okay.
Hey, Morgan, it's Heath from Credo.
Hey.
So great. Thanks again for joining us. So I know at the beginning, Erinne was talking about, the draft and going from the draft to, the iron, the longer distance. And we had the opportunity, and sorry to bring up sore wounds here, but at Challenge Daytona, right? So, that one, if I'm not mistaken, that was probably, you're not a TT bike guy, right? So that was somewhat really new for you, wasn't it?
Oh, it was extremely new. So for those that don't know what he's talking about here, I did the Challenge Daytona race. Was it December 9th? And
2020, yeah.
Yeah, 2020. And I was really excited to get into the race. But what happened was I got into the race only a month before, and I had never been on a TT bike.
Oh my
So by the time I kind of got the TT bike, built it, I probably ridden on it maybe 8 times outside.
Wow.
Not a ton before I flew to Florida. And I think if it was not a track race, it was on the Daytona racetrack.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So you're in a TT position. You don't have to get out of it ever. Like a lot of these other Ironmans, half Ironmans, there's some climbs, there's some turning, you're getting out, you're sprinting back up to speed. But this race, you're just sitting in those bars. And I was in pretty good shape. I ran a good race a few weeks before. My bike power seemed to be good. I think I did like a a 45-minute TT the week before, and it was like right at the power I wanted to hit. It wasn't that hard. I was like, oh, we're also at altitude, so like you could factor all these things, and I should be ready to go.
Right. But
And we got an hour into the race of the bike portion, so plus the swim, so maybe an hour 20, and my legs started going. My legs started locking up, and at that point, my goal was like top 10 type thing. And I was, I wasn't biking with the leaders, but I was trying to hold my pace. My coach gave me the specific power to hit. I was just trying to do that, make it through the race, and have a good run because running was my strength. And my legs started to go, so I went another lap, which is 2.5 miles, and then by then I was like, I could barely push down the pedals. So I went from like, okay, let's try to get top 10 to, okay, my goal is to finish this race. By any means, I need to finish this race. So I pulled off to the side of the track, and my plan was to just stretch for like a couple minutes, just stretch out my legs. I think I had 7 laps of 20 to go. So I was kind of near the home stretch, and my legs, I couldn't even step off my bike. Like I couldn't lift my right leg over the bike to get off of it.
oh my gosh.
It took
that's
like,
crazy.
it took 10 minutes for me to build the strength to do that. And at that point,
You're like,
I'm ashamed to admit I dropped out of the race. But my goal was always the Olympics, and that was like the big goal. So I didn't want to injure myself trying to finish the race. So I think it was a good decision to stop. I still kind of injured myself. I pulled some muscle in my leg, and I couldn't run for about a week and a half after that. So
oh my
yeah,
gosh. Wow.
luckily it was the off season. I probably would have rested anyways, but yeah, that was, but I'll say that was a really good experience. If I ever want to go back and do a long course race, I learned so much from that race, and I know I would prepare very differently than I did for that one.
So do you have aspirations after the Olympics to go long, or are you going to stay for, short course? You don't know yet.
Well, I'll say at this moment, my heart is in short course. I started the sport only a few years ago, and I think I have a lot of improvement. And I for a bit I was like, okay, maybe I could do some 70.3s and do kind of that in the off season. But I've studied the sport, and I see a lot of these guys trying to do both. And in my mind, I would rather be the best at ITU, and that's it. Like, I'd rather squeeze all the juice out of that lemon than try to do both just to, make a few extra dollars or, make a name for myself or whatever it is. I'd rather just be the best I can be at ITU. That's just my goal. So
right.
I'm not saying I'll never jump in another time trial style race, but I'm definitely not going to focus on it. I'm definitely going to be on the road bike training, getting ready for that draft legal racing.
So speaking of cycling, also this triggered me. Do you bike on a trainer ever? Do you like have a Wahoo kicker or?
Yeah, so I do bike on the trainer, and I actually I hated it when I first started. I thought it was one of the hardest things. But this past winter, actually, I started doing all my interval sessions on the trainer, and I really think it helped me get a lot stronger.
Yeah.
I think it's a really good tool. Like, it's a tool, like kind of like you were talking about with some of these coaches that are giving me tips. The trainer is just another tool to use. Exactly. So I think it's good. Most of you are in Florida, so maybe you don't have to use it as much. But for me, I'm in Colorado, so there's days I have no choice. It's snowing 20 degrees. I'm not going to go out and bike. But since I was forced to use it, I started to enjoy it more. And I realized I was getting a lot of strength from it because there's no rest. You can't fake the power output, like going up a hill, getting out of the saddle, and just like, it's just, and I'll be honest, most of my races are flat. So that's kind of closer to the race too.
That's true. Okay. Someone has a question about what's your average watts on the Olympic distance race? Like, I know it's like staccato and stuff, but what's your lactate threshold power? Like, what's your watts? And then what is it at the race? Is it similar, or is it above or below?
I don't know. I actually don't know what my lactate threshold power is.
You don't.
But usually at the race, it's like a hard race would be, maybe we average a little bit over 300 watts. And then but if normalized power with that's kind of, it's with the spikes, and it's some equation. I think it's actually,
they take out the zeros. They take for normalized power. You take out the zeros. So anytime you're coasting, it doesn't count those. So it's the average, like as close to the middle as possible of all your spikes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it might be 350 or something like that. So
Wow.
it's, yeah, so that's about 50 minutes, an hour. I mean,
Right.
here's the thing. And I kind of laugh because after a race, people are always comparing their power and
It
they're
doesn't
like,
matter.
they like want it to be higher. And I'm like, actually, if you think about it, you want it to be lower.
Lower.
You want to be riding smart and relaxed
Yeah.
in the pack. And if you're, well, if you're with the lead pack, you want the lowest possible power, right?
Right. Because you're
Unless you're, I
drafting
mean,
and you're not
if
working
you're
as hard.
breaking away, like if that's your strategy, but for me, like running is my strength. So I'm usually not the guy trying to break away on the bike.
Right.
I'm usually trying to conserve. So I always say like my goal power is like 150 watts.
That's cool. And then as far as transitions, so we're doing a transition practice this weekend because a lot of my athletes are very, very slow at their transitions. And that for this style of racing for the Olympics, it has to be like so fast. Like, do you train your transitions?
I do. I practice them. I probably should practice them more. It's definitely one of my weaknesses. But yeah, I do. We do train them. I'll do swim, bike. I've done a few swim, bike breaks where I get onto the trainer and I'm always like, I'll put my helmet on. I don't care if it looks silly wearing a helmet on the trainer. Like that's such good practice.
Right.
It's one thing to go in my room, practice putting my helmet on. It's another thing to get out of the pool, just gas myself, swim in a 300.
Right.
As close as I can to the, like, that's the feeling you have in the race, you know, and then you're practicing putting on the helmet. That's
Right.
so that's one thing I always say, like, it's one thing to practice the transitions, practice putting on your shoes, but you want to, for me, at least, I like having that fatigue similar to the race and that the elevated heart rate, because that's closer to what the race feels like. And if
Yeah,
you
the
can nail it,
reality.
then you're probably going to nail it in the race.
So do you bring your trainer to the side of the pool like that?
Yeah. I don't do it a ton, but every so often
Right.
I'll do that. Yeah. And
Okay, you guys.
that's a hard workout.
Yeah, it's a very hard workout, right? Feel
Yeah.
tired. Urs, you got a
Morgan.
question?
Yeah, I had a question, Morgan. Nice to meet you, and congratulations to the to being selected to represent the United States at the Olympics. Wish you good luck. I will definitely be watching it. I hope it's not in the middle of the night over here when we're watching. I had a question. Our coach Erinne is always telling us at the beginning of a race to really warm up, especially the shorter distances, sprints or Olympics. And for me, I didn't listen initially, and then I get into the water and I have all these butterflies, and I'm like hyperventilating as we're going, and it takes me a while to get going. I wonder, what is your startup routine? How do you set yourself up for, you know, the first 100, 200, 300 in the water?
Okay. Yeah. Well, first off, thank you. And I think the race is 6 a.m. in Tokyo, 6:30 a.m. So I actually think it's in the afternoon, evening
Here,
in the US. So I think it should be a good time to watch.
Great.
And then for the warm up, most races, I actually do a run in the most races for us are in the afternoon. I know most of you guys are guys and girls are probably morning races, but for me, I usually get a jog in the morning, do some drills, do some light strides, and that's basically my run workout for the day. That way I can get to the race. I don't have to stress about doing a swim, bike, and run workout. And running at the end of the race, I know my heart rate's going to be elevated. Like I'll be fine. Biking, I usually do a trainer, 20 minutes on the trainer. And within that, I'll do some intervals, maybe a 3 to 4 minute build, kind of maybe start from 300 watts to 400, just really going by the end, and then take some rest and some sprints. So I actually really like a good bike warm up. That's probably the one that's most important for me. And then swim, we're usually allowed to get in the water about 45 minutes to an hour before the race. I'm usually one of the first guys to get in the water. I'm always kind of laughing a little because I'm always getting in before everyone. I'm like, why are you guys waiting to the last second to get in? I like to get in and take my time. I usually swim a lap, which for us is a 750, just easy cruise. I might throw in some 30 to 40 second surges just to kind of get that feel of going a little bit faster, getting the heart rate up. And then I get back to shore, and I usually do some starts. So maybe I'll do 4 50 meter sprints, just like I'm starting the race almost. Full rest, full recovery, get out of the water, get back, do 4 of those, and that's usually it for me. I mean,
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot. It's
That's
it's
awesome.
like And it might not even be
exhausted.
50 meters. I usually do like strokes. Like I'll say like, I'm going to do 30 strokes hard or something off the dive. Or if it's a run in, I'll do that, you know?
Right. That's awesome.
So.
Yeah. So you get really prepared because this race, you're at 100%, like right from the gun. It's not like you build into the race. Like,
Right.
It's not negative splitting. It's all out the whole time. Right. I mean, you have to pace yourself a little bit, but are you drafting in the swim or usually in front on the swim?
No, I'm usually drafting. Usually, like you said, it's the first, because usually it's 300 meters from where we dive in or where we get in the water to the first buoy. So from that, it's just full, like you said, full gas. You're not thinking about anything other than just getting to that first buoy as quick as you can, because there tends to be a bit of a pile up at that first buoy because, you know, we have 60 guys trying to all take a left-hand turn. They all want to be in a little small area of water at the same time. So if you can get into the front, you usually get around that buoy pretty clear. So usually I'm going all out, sprinting as hard as I can. It's tactics. You know, if someone's going faster than me, I'll try to get on their feet. If I'm the fastest of the guys around me, I just kind of keep pushing, keep pressing. You want to keep an eye on the buoy. You sight a little bit, but yeah. And then from there, after that first buoy, personally, I try to conserve a little bit. Just get on someone's feet, get my heart rate down if I can. But at the same time, I'm not losing that feet. You know, I'm doing whatever I can to stay on that guy's feet, but I'm doing also whatever I can to make it as easy as possible.
Right. To stay relaxed.
One more question, then we'll go to the quiz. So anyone out there that wants to ask one last question to our friend Morgan?
Don't be shy. I have one more if you guys don't have one. So
let's give it 15 seconds. Okay,
in
go ahead.
international events. Okay, in international events where he doesn't know the competition personally, do you scope out the competition ahead of time?
So for us, it's actually usually the same guys at every race.
Yeah.
Especially the WTS series. There's 60 guys, 55 or 60. There's a few, it's like between 50 and 60 guys allowed on the start line. And it's almost always the same guys. Of course, some guys are missing, so there'll be some new guys. But generally I don't worry about it too much. You know, I try not to look at the start list and try to psych myself out. I think it's just going to go to my head, and I just want to be relaxed. And I know there's going to be good swimmers there. There's going to be good bikers. And I remind myself, this is going to be really hard no matter who's there, you know? So personally, I like to not do that because I can get worked up if I check the start list too much, and I'd rather be calm going into the race.
So even going into the Olympics, I just have one more question. So like just going into the Olympics, like your mindset is, if I feel like that's going to help you so much more going in with that mindset and just having your best day. That's your main goal, to have your best day. You're going to have the best outcome, right? So that's awesome.
Yeah. I'll say, because I know a lot of people are like, oh, you got to be, how are you going to, for the guy Alex Yee who won in Leeds where I was second, they're like, oh, you got to beat him. Like, how are you going to beat him? And I'm like, hey, I can only worry about myself. There's so many guys out there that are going for the win and have a really good chance. If I worry about all these individuals, it's going to hold me back. I need to worry about myself and being the best I can be. And then the outcome will take care of itself. And that's just my approach right now. I don't think it's worth getting worked up about each individual. You know, I know their strengths. I know their weaknesses in the race. If I see them, and if it's to my benefit to get on their feet or to go in front of them, like I will, but I don't need to be studying it like a book before the race, you know?
Right. That's awesome. Cool.
Very fantastic. All right, here we go. Great questions. And Erinne, you're a great co-host, and congratulations.
Oh, we're frozen.
You got so many talents. It's unbelievable. So a quick question here. So on Morgan, what year did Morgan win the USA Triathlon age group, the nationals as an age group? What year? A, 2015, B, 2017, or C, 2016? Who wants to take a shot at this for some Credo swag? So what year did Morgan win the USA Triathlon Group National Championship? A, 2015, B, 2017, or C, 2016? Who wants to give it a shot?
Anybody? You can put it in the group chat if you don't want to come on video. Take a guess, you guys.
Yeah, I mean, we're not gonna bite. Nobody's
Okay.
answering?
Yes,
So-
2016. Someone just voted 2016.
Oh, I see that. No, not 2016. One more
Oh.
shot.
2017.
Yes. So Mary Liz B. Mary
Urs.
Liz B.
No, yeah, but Urs said it first.
Oh, Urs Berg Bruner. Yes. So
Yeah,
Urs
he said it first.
wins. So you have a choice of a T-shirt, a trucker hat, or a visor.
I take a T-shirt.
T-shirt for Urs. Okay. Second question here. Now people are starting to loosen up finally after an hour. What year did Morgan turn pro? A, 2018, B, 2019, or C, 2017?
So someone, Mary Liz, you can't pick two.
Martin says
So-
2019. No, that's wrong. Monica, wrong, 2019.
So Mary Liz said B and then A.
No,
So-
no, no. B was the last question. I picked A for this
Oh,
one. My
A.
B was to.
Who's Mary Liz? Okay, Mary Liz, she's on it. So it was A, 2018. Am I correct,
Yay.
Morgan? Should we verify
Yes.
with the pro?
2018.
Okay, here we go. Third
Awesome. What do you want,
question
Mary Liz?
here. Okay, what do you want?
Wait.
A trucker hat, a visor, or a T-shirt?
A visor.
Visor. All right.
Smart woman, smart woman.
Good choice.
Yeah, because you're a visor lady, Aaron, aren't you?
I am.
She is.
All right. So here we go. We'll see if you've been listening to this video and what Morgan was saying. But which university did Morgan attend as part of the National Men's Cross Country Team Champion? So what university was he part of when they won the national championship in 2014? A, University of Arizona, B, UCLA, or C, University of Colorado Boulder?
I think I know. Someone said A.
No, wrong. Mary Liz
Boulder.
again, Boulder. My gosh, she's on.
Yeah.
She's
Oh,
gonna be decked
Martin.
up.
Martin got Colorado too.
Yes. Okay, Martin. So
Martin, you win.
You want a trucker hat, a visor, or a T-shirt?
Visor.
Visor. Man, you got a big influence, Aaron. Visor, visor,
They
visor.
listen. They listen to their coach. It's too hot down here to train with a hat on.
Okay, last question here. What year and city did Morgan obtain his first win as a pro triathlete? Number 1, Montreal 2018. Number 2, Huatulco 2019. And number 3, Yokohama 2018. So number 1, Montreal 2018. B, Huatulco 2019. Or C, Yokohama 2018. Wow, big blank here.
Well, Jacqueline, is that C from before? Kaya says C.
I'm gonna stay. No, it's not C for me. Unless you, it's not C. No,
Okay,
no, it's
that's
not
all
C.
we have.
That's
Come
all
on,
you have.
guys, 2 other
You can correct
chances.
me if I'm wrong, Morgan.
Montreal.
Okay, you jumped the gun. Yeah, Montreal.
Yes.
Okay, Jessica picked it. So Jessica, what do you want?
I'll take a visor as well.
Oh my gosh.
Yay. Thank you.
Well, I thank you guys. I think it's been a blast. Everybody enjoyed it. Aaron, you were a great host. Guys, you were great. Morgan,
Morgan, you're awesome.
thoughts,
We're super
last
excited.
words.
Yeah, thanks everyone. It means a lot for everyone to tune in, and it's really cool to know that people, for example, Urs will be cheering me on in the Olympics, and hopefully you can watch. Hopefully it's a good time.
Yeah, we're
All right.
gonna have an Olympics party and be cheering you on, and just think that you have all this energy of all the U.S. behind you, right? You have us
Yeah.
all there at your fingertips, right? So tap into that because we will be wishing you well and sending you energy.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that's the case. Obviously, there's no fans in the Olympics this
I
year,
know.
but I think even
Yeah.
in Yokohama, I could feel my family cheering me on from New Jersey, and I think hopefully the Olympics is even a bigger. I feel the whole country cheering me on. So even though
Fantastic.
no one's there.
So thanks,
I
everyone. Morgan, can you stay online for a quick second? So
Of
he and I
course.
want to have a discussion. Guys, thank you. And then I'll be meeting up with Aaron to give her all the goodies, and you guys can enjoy them. And good luck for the rest of your season in Florida. It's going to be hot and steamy for the summer for the triathlon.
Right. Don't
All right,
forget
you're-
to don't forget to
Yeah,
download
don't
the
forget
app.
to
too.
download the app, you guys.
Yeah,
Thanks
because
so
we got
much,
all your
Lou.
names.
Great to see you, Heath. Yeah,
Same
bye,
here,
you guys.
Erinne.
Have a great day. Have a great weekend.
Enjoy.
Bye.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Erinne.
Morgan.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Morgan.